Good evening. For his first interview since assuming in January of this year the responsibility of the Chief Executive Officer of the Ireland Development Company IDC, Mr. Cyril Bonlam has highlighted that the current debt of the company stands at around 200 million rupees. Mr. Bonlam says this debt represents a risk for IDC and he is working with the new board to stabilize the finances of the state-owned enterprise.
When I took over the company at the beginning of the year, normally the first place I have to go and look at was the finances. And what I found as of the end of the year, the company was making a loss of 49 million. We had an overdraft exposure of over 160 million. And we have a loan for Green Tree. So in total, over 200 million exposure. And obviously, now the focus is to ensure that we get our house in order, which means we have to look at our cost, look at the stuff we need to buy, stuff we don't require to buy. And at the same time, we have some projects going on, make sure that we deliver the projects on time so that we get our revenue, and that would help us to bring down the exposure.
The Chinese Embassy of Seychelles handed over a new boat to the Seychelles Coast Guard this morning. This vessel will help in combating illegal activities in the Seychelles waters. Andromache is already the name of a ship that existed in the fleet of the Seychelles Coast Guard, but some 2 years ago it was decommissioned. Thus, this new boat bears the same name and as the previous one, and it measures 45 meters and has a maximum speed of 30 knots. Andromache will be used to patrol and monitor major interceptions against terrorists and will be involved in other military operations and in the protection of the Seychelles. The Chinese ambassador Lin Nan said the donation testifies the great commitment between Seychelles and China.
Seychelles is an important country in Indian Ocean and the port connecting Africa and Asia and plays a vital role in maintaining regional maritime security. Facing the common threats on the sea, such as piracy, illegal drug, human and weapon trafficking, China will continue to support Seychelles in combating illegal activities of all kinds. We are working hard to implement the outcome of the summit and the important consensus reached by our two heads of states. With the concerted efforts, we made the first charter flight and Seychelles-China Trade Expo happened.
Vice President Ahmed Afif says Travaiserie is paying its taxes as is required of all entities conducting businesses in the country except for the VAT component, which has not yet been finalized. Vice President Afif made the statement in the National Assembly this morning in his capacity as the minister responsible for finance while answering a P&Q from the leader of the opposition, Sébastien Pillet.
Est-ce qu'il Travaiserie in contribuer aucune taxe qui soit VAT?
The leader of the opposition in the National Assembly, Sébastien Pillet, wanted to know whether or not Travaiserie is paying all its taxes, including VAT, and how much it has paid during the past 3 years. Vice President Ahmed Afif said that the entity has so far, since 2021, paid all its business and income taxes. However, he did not reveal any figures which he described as confidential business information, which the National Assembly can access only through its Finance and Public Accounts Committee, the FPAC. When it comes to value-added tax or VAT, Mr. Afif said that Travaiserie has not been able to pay the component yet, as its procedures to implement the regulations regarding VAT has never been finalized. He said that it was the former Comptroller General of SRC, Mrs. Veronique Emini, who was supposed to finalize the process within a 6-month delay in 2021. However, Mr. Afif said that Travaiserie brings remarkable benefits to the country's economy in terms of employment of Seychellois, the purchase of goods and services, and the easing up of immigration and border control procedures. He added that the entity has also contributed over 20 million rupees towards the economy, namely through the Environment Trust Fund, the 7th December Disaster Fund, and the forthcoming beach soccer tournament. He also said that procedures to collect VAT from Travaiserie will be finalized as soon as possible, and that government will make sure that the entity pay all its due taxes.
Still in the National Assembly, the minister responsible for environment has confirmed that efforts are underway to prevent any environmental contamination from the waste system associated with the planned five-star hotel at the site of the Sheikh Khalifa Palace. Minister Flavien Joubert made the statement during the question time session this morning. He emphasized that the government has clearly communicated its stance to the developers regarding the wastewater system, as the hotel will be located directly above the Cascade Dam and the Bassin Blé on the Grand-Anse side. Consequently, the ministry's position is that all wastewater from the site must be directed to a treatment plant on the coast for processing rather than at the Lamizé site. The ministry and the Public Utilities Corporation PUC are already working on a project to assess the feasibility of connecting the wastewater system to either the PUC Plaisance or Wushkaima network. The case providing the legal possession of arms and prevention of terrorism has resumed of yesterday. It is important to note that there are 4 accused individuals in this case: the Valabji couple, Mukesh and Laura, former senior officer of the Defense Forces, Leslie Benoiton, and Frank Marie, a former bodyguard of the former president, Albert René. The case is primarily centered around the discovery of over 100 firearms and more than 35 rounds of ammunition at the Valabji's residence in Mont Blanc more than 3 years ago. The defense lawyers are now presenting their case and have introduced a document that is purportedly signed by former President René in 2003, authorizing Mr. Valabji to maintain an armory at his residence in Mont Blanc. The document states that the authorization remains valid until revoked by a presidential order. The prosecution is questioning the authenticity of this document and why it is only being presented now. The judge will later decide whether the document is genuine and if it can be accepted as evidence in the court. Courtesy call on President Wavell Ramkalawan by the Commissioner of the African Commission on Human Rights and People's Rights, Solomon Deso. During the visit at State House, they discussed the human and people's rights situation in Seychelles, issues relating to detention conditions, the socio-economic well-being of individuals, and the freedom of expression were also addressed. The Commission on Human and People's Rights will draft a report covering all the findings of its engagement and conversations with a wide range of stakeholders they've met whilst in the Seychelles. And with this, we end the summary. I'll be back at 8 with the Creole Bulletin. Good evening.